Hi, this is Emily,
And this is Helen.
presenting you
Hello, Audio.
where every 2 weeks,
We are showing you the best entrepreneurs for music, audio, and tech.
and a huge thanks to Leo and Tamara who are producing this podcast for us.
Hello, Audio by The Venue Berlin.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our next episode of Hello Audio. Today I got here Magda from Volareo. Hi, Magda.
Hi guys. Thanks for having me here. Thanks for having Volareo in the venue Berlin.
We will also listen to some parts of the afterwork session during our podcast to get some more insights onto blockchain and cryptocurrency. We should just go straight ahead and you explain what Volareo is.
Yeah, first of all, Volareo.
Volareo, sorry.
Probably you know the song Volareo. Yeah. So it actually comes from this because the main purpose behind the company was to bring the love and feeling into the music. So it's very catchy. So hence the name. But Volareo essentially is the first in the world portable smart speaker that integrates blockchain-based music streaming platforms and makes them easily accessible to a large audience, so the listeners, us. It integrates them in one hardware, one speaker, and you can have a seamless experience in interacting with the speaker by voice or by gesture or by touch. And search for music, discover new artists, even tip musicians with your voice,
How do you tip them with your voice?
So yeah, here we go a little bit deeper into the technology behind it, but because it's blockchain based, which for those who are not familiar with blockchain, it's a decentralized network, let's say, which allows direct and transparent transaction between two parties. And it's based on cryptocurrency as well. So it allows, to give the tip to artists directly to artists without any middleman in between. So maybe you are familiar with big names, Spotify and SoundCloud, right? It's not a secret that there are a lot of middlemen in between, right? So the artists get a really, really small percentage of actual revenue. And what blockchain does, it cuts out everybody in between.
During our after-work session, Antonio from Volareo explained a bit more about how blockchain works and why it could be beneficial for artists. Let's check it out.
There has been a research just came out from Citigroup, and they figured out that 12% of all the music industry, which is a 45 billion industry, gets given to the artists. 12% of 45 billion. And they make 100% of the content. Why is that? Everybody's getting their cut. And the point is this, it's fine to have middlemen. When you have, beer, if there is somebody distributing it, you put a markup to it, and he gets this markup. If there is somebody selling it, he puts a markup on it. And then you get beers for €3 each. When it costed, 50 cents to make it. The point is that with music, you cannot put a markup, because if you put a markup, people will go back to illegal downloads. We're not even fine with paying 0.99 cents for music. So that is the problem. And how do you solve that problem without putting a markup? You say, okay, let technology be the middleman. Let technology do the work that the middleman is, and you don't have to pay a markup for technology. What is the solution? Why blockchain? What if musicians would be paid instantly and transparently with smart contracts that enable them to not have publishers, record labels, royalty collecting agency, and it's free for consumers? You cut the middleman, but you have to have a database that is trusted. Blockchain enables you to say every transaction has to be confirmed by multiple parties. Multiple owners of the database can look at their database and say, okay, this is a valid transaction, you can go through this. Everybody has a record of all the database, every piece of the block. That is the only way to make it so that you don't have middlemen, as well as you have a technology that is you can rely on.
Yeah, nice. How did you come up with this idea to also have a smart speaker that does this?
Right. So our team has experts from the field of AI and technology. Our founder, Nick, he was the man who brought for the first time MP3 player to Europe in 1998 it was, from Asia. So he has 25 years experience in consumer electronics and smart hardware. On the other hand, we also have our chief of music, Carl. Maybe some people know him from the very world hit Pump Up the Jam. So, 37 years in music industry, it's something. And then as the technology advances, they came together and they said, we want to create something meaningful and we want to actually give back to the music creators and shift the trend and benefit those who are actually creating the content, the music.
Give the power back to the artist.
Exactly. And it's very recent that we started Volareo, because we debuted in South by Southwest in Austin in Texas back in March.
Oh, just that recent. I didn't realize that.
Correct. So I think this is how we work, very fast, and because we have so much expertise.
And you also got your first prototype, right?
Correct. So we have our first prototype. We also have technical demos already available where you can see actually how the tipping of artists can be done and how artists get the get the payout immediately in their virtual wallets.
I think you showed me beforehand how you tip, and you can actually literally tip onto the speaker, right?
Correct.
To tip, right?
Exactly. So this is only one part of it, but because it's based on artificial intelligence, the possibilities are endless. And we just launched an Indiegogo campaign just to have a proof of concept and see how people are responding to this kind of technology. But we can already see on the blockchain streaming platforms like MusicCoin, Emanate, Tune, for example, that it's working. Like, people are tipping, artists are earning money. We have a lot of examples of my friend, who's an artist. He says that he earned more money in cryptocurrency that later can be changed to fiat money, but he earned more money in 2 weeks on this platform than he did in 2 years in Spotify.
Wow.
So it says something, and there we are seeing the major shift in the industry for sure.
How does it actually work? So I play a song with this streaming service. I can choose whatever streaming service that is using your speaker that you have a partnership with. I play the music. Some of the money goes to the streaming platform. Some of the money goes straight to the artist. And the tipping doesn't go through the streaming service. It goes straight to the artist without any money going to the streaming service.
Right. So it's a little bit separate. I'm going to give you a few examples of partnerships that we work with. So the music, blockchain-based music platforms. First, MusicCoin, who's our launching partner. This is the first and the biggest organically grown platform. Then we have Tune, LA-based. We have Soundion, Emanate, who's an Australian-based platform. The way they operate is a little bit different, but we, as Volareo, we never come in between the artist and the revenue that they get. So how MusicCoin, for example, resolves it, they have to mine the coins because it's based on cryptocurrency. And around 18% of the mined coins goes to the UBI, which is Universal Basic Income Pool. And they assure that from this pool, every artist will be always remunerated. But, for example, Tune, they take 20% cut of every stream from the song. It's a little bit different ways they operate, but in any case, it's something unheard of now in the music business, and artists are really benefiting from it.
Yeah, I feel like there are lots of new streaming platforms working with blockchain appearing lately.
Right.
I think we also got one of them in Berlin, Resonate.
Correct. We are partnering almost every week with someone. There are around 80 blockchain projects maybe right now that we are monitoring. And it's just takes time, but almost every week we have someone else coming on board.
Do you see big differences between those streaming platforms?
Well, maybe right now in a selection of music, There's no discrimination, and anybody can join as an artist or as a listener for free. Organically, they just grow in different directions a little bit, you know. So, for example, Emanate is a little bit more collaborative platform, and you see more artists related to more electronic and, for example, techno coming into this platform. Then Music Coin is a little bit more diverse into indie, rock. And
when we were talking the first time, you were telling me that the music that is put out there on those streaming platforms and that you can stream with Volareo,
Volareo.
Sorry.
Very good point, Volareo.
I think you said that the music needs to be owned 100% by the artist. Is that just for Volareo? Or is that also for those streaming platforms?
So you have to see Volareo is the hardware built on top of the blockchain music streaming platform. So we are independent. And what Volareo does as a speaker, smart speaker, is aggregate those platforms so you as a listener can have only one place to go to and just listen seamlessly music from any platform you want, just by, for example, giving voice commands. But what you are talking about, the ownership, this is on the side of those platforms, and it's universally true that if you want to release on blockchain, you need to have 100% master rights to your music. Well, otherwise it wouldn't make sense, you know, because there's no middleman, so there's no record labels in between who take any cuts of this. So it's your own initiative to put your music out there, and then you do it because you want to earn actual money for your creation.
But do you feel like this could be a disadvantage for you because there's no way you will be able to capture all the music that people might want to listen to?
Well, not really. I mean, we as Volareo, we don't take the opportunity from you to listen to Beyonce, for example. Through Volareo, you will be able to also stream from normal platforms, but we will always give priority to blockchain streaming platforms. And, you know, we are seeing this major shift in even like the biggest artists realizing that you can actually make more money. And I can give you like real-time examples, like, for example, you know, self-releasing is a new trend in general in music. So artists realizing that they need to be like startups really if they want to kickstart their career and promote themselves, you know. So for example, Frank Ocean, he waited like 5 years for his contract to end and start self-releasing music, you know. Or we just interviewed a very, very big band, Scouting for Girls. And they are a signed band by Epic Records. They are signed by Epic Records. But they are saying they are really, really into blockchain. They are saying that we really want to do it because they want to be an example and they see the benefit of it for everyone.
Yeah, I totally see the benefit to also have all this transparency within the streaming service because lots of artists are very unsure about, for example, all those sheets that they get from Spotify.
The royalties, right? So what we are seeing, you know, I mean, you as an artist, if you release on Spotify, you need to wait 1 to 1.5, 2 years for the royalties to come. And the middlemen are siphoning like 88% of actual revenue from you. So you see a fraction of it at the end.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I think sometimes it does make sense for an artist to have a publisher, especially if you're growing and getting bigger. It is nice to have someone who takes care of your rights, like even just an administrational contract could be interesting for some artists. So I'm wondering what would actually happen if you're an artist and work with a blockchain-based streaming service and then want to collaborate with an artist that is actually signed to a publisher. Would you have to take the track down then, or are you able to publish it anyways on that streaming service? For that question, I would like to hand over to Neil from Tune.
If, say, you were going to do a collaboration with an artist who is published, you just wouldn't be able to put that track onto Tune. So as an artist, maybe not. As an artist, maybe not, but in terms of where you can place that music, yeah, definitely it would. But again, as this is almost it's not a new territory, but it's a new turf. So it could be that you would be able to get a specific license for that area because it's a non-fiat area. It's just, it's the non-tangible. That's at the minute until stuff's plugged in the future.
In that context, smart contracts are very often mentioned. Could you explain a bit more about smart contracts? What are they actually about?
So the smart contract really only dictates who the stakeholders are of that material. So it doesn't really have that bearing, if you like. So every day there's only 375,000 tokens released. And so out of those plays per day, out of a percentage of those plays per day, that track, that piece of art, or that works, gets allocated that many tokens. So then from there, whoever is the percentage owner of those tokens gets remunerated. So it doesn't really affect like how many tokens get issued per day. It's just more like who gets the rights to keep them kind of thing. Yeah, be it a label, you can have the label on there, as I do with mine, and I've started putting my work on, and as long as that's getting physically said who the artists are and everything, yeah, it keeps it fair.
All right. I was wondering why there's a need for a device that is specially made for music. Why wouldn't you just use Alexa or Amazon Echo?
Yes, it is primarily focused on music, true. But it's also widely different because it can change the way we feel and experience and interact with music and with musicians. It gives you the possibility to, interact with artists in a very personal level. And on the other hand, artists also get insights into the fan database that they had never had before. Of course, it has elements like Alexa or Google Home. So it's a smart speaker, so it's a smart assistant, which means that you can give voice commands, but basically, because we love music and we decided to focus first on music side of the innovation, and then maybe expand it maybe a little bit further. And then the privacy reason as well. This is a good one because, as we know, Alexa and Google Home, they are owned by big corporations, and this is no secret as well that. As we have a joke here inside, we are creating the speaker that doesn't spy on you. With Volareo, it's an open source speaker, and you have also a button where you can turn off the voice or the listening mode, and it won't listen to anything that you are saying. And Alexa and Google Home is a spy lying there somewhere there, And there's also the open source element to Volareo. So what it means that it's an open source speaker, it means that it's based on a decentralized platform, and anybody can look inside of the technology and build their own apps or decentralized apps or benefit from the technology that we are using.
I mean, your product is not out on the market yet, but did you have any contributors still so far? Did you have any people who had great ideas, and do you have examples for this?
Yes, so it's not on the market. It is kind of on the market because we launched an Indiegogo campaign. For those who are not familiar, it's a crowdfunding platform, one of the biggest ones in the world. And we sold, or we had a lot of speakers pledged. We got funded in 2 hours after their release.
Wow.
We were fully founded by the crowd, by the people. So it's really good news. And those speakers ordered right now will be delivered in the beginning of 2019. So once we develop a little bit further the technology, then we will officially give access to the developers to access the technology. So I cannot give you a specific example, but it's in the roadmap this year. Going to open once we have the technology fully developed. Now we have around 95-97%. The tech behind the Volareo developed that needs to be integrated in a physical speaker. And once we have, 99-100%, then we open it for the developers to actually benefit from it. And we're going to take part as well in a few hackathons, as well in probably ADE, so Amsterdam Dance Event. We got invited there as well, where we give, access for for more techie guys to see what they can do with the technology and improve the life of musicians and music creators and lovers.
Yeah, that'll be really interesting to see. There's just one more thought I got on this is I think some artists, or I know quite a lot of artists who are very unsure about maybe how much money can they ask for, how do the contracts work, what do they have to take care of. And I think the contracts are very individual. And I'm not sure how that could be. Like, I think some artists would be still happy to get some support and have some middleman because they help them. What is your thought on this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you were coming back to also the record labels and publishers, true. So, of course, yes, they give some support. But again, as an artist, we work a lot of artists, and yeah, I don't want to generalize, and I know it's scary, and some of them are a little bit lazy if they don't see like immediately the benefit of something. But as an artist, you need to be as a startup, and you need to educate yourself on what's out there. We, as Volareo, we are an aggregator, and we also give advice, or we help artists to gain knowledge ultimately, and plan also on funding this service of supporting artists in marketing, or familiarizing them what and how they can release on those platforms, which is already quite easy.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to be an artist and want to be successful, clearly you have to do something some work for yourself.
Yeah, true, of course. And once you, and it doesn't take a long time, but once you see the benefits of blockchain, of those platforms, like you are hooked. I promise you. So try it out, guys. Go to MusicCoin, go to Tune, go to Emanate. Try, logging in. It's free. And just try it out, It takes less time than, trying to send your EP to some publisher and then please, get me on board. Or you maybe not.
Cool. I think those were quite nice words to end with. Yeah. But we got one more question that we ask everyone in our podcast. We always ask, what is your favorite tune at the moment?
My favorite tune at the moment is Volareo. I cannot sing for nothing, but it's definitely Volareo.
How could it be a different song? Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks also to Melodrive for preparing our jingle for us. And thank you so much, Magda, for coming here and answering all my questions.
Hello, audio by the venue Berlin.